Okay, guys, I'm back from a small 2-month break that I inadvertently took uh, to give you my Survivor Series 2018 review. My final of the big four reviews of 2018. I'm going to get at least one more video out before Christmas, and then I'll be taking Christmas through New Year's off. Survivor 2018, it took place November the 18th, 2018 from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. It was a 7-match main card. There was a match on the kickoff that ended up not happening. That ended up not being counted. So, therefore, it's not going to factor into my review at all. But it was the SmackDown versus Raw 20-man tag team elimination match. It was the SmackDown team, the Usos and the New Day, i.e. the only two teams that matter on SmackDown, with their fodder of the Good Brothers, Sanity, and the Colognes, against Raw's team of Bobby Roode and Chad Gable, the Descension, because until the Ascension ascends to anything other than irrelevancy, they are the Descension, but the Ascension, the Lucha House Party, who were only here so Heath Slater and Rhino wouldn't be in this match, the B Team, and does it really matter who the other team was? Because at this point, Raw's tag division is pretty much worthless. Anyway, the Usos are the survivors for their team. That's all that's really important about that. So, it came down to the Usos versus the Revival. So, that's what it came down to. The show opened properly with the 5-on-5 Women's Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw, captained by Alexa Bliss, who was not in the match because of injury. But the team that wrestled the match was Mickie James, Nia Jax, Tamina, Bayley, and Sasha Banks, who were replacing Ruby Riott and Natalya. I don't know how smart that made Alexa Bliss anyway to put those two on the team, but what do I know? They were taking on the SmackDown team, captained by Naomi, given that Charlotte Flair had to pull out of the team, with her teammates Asuka, Carmella, Mandy Rose, and Sonya DeVille. This is an okay match. It wasn't horrible. But the Tamina gets the first elimination of Naomi, and then Carmella quickly rose up Tamina and does a dance break. And then Carmella is eliminated. Mickie James was eliminated by Mandy Rose, who gets eliminated by Sasha Banks. And then Bayley and Sonya DeVille are counted out. So it leaves Asuka against Sasha and Nia Jax. Nia Jax pushes Sasha Banks off the top rope, which allows Asuka to put her in the Asuka lock and eliminate Sasha. But then Nia eliminates Asuka to become the sole survivor of the team. Like I said, not a bad match. Certainly wasn't good. Certainly wasn't as bad as it, it was a 2.5-star match, so it wasn't bad. There was better matches on the night, though, but this wasn't bad. So then we get the Intercontinental Champion, Seth Rollins, against the United States Champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. Good match here. 3.5-star match. I really wish Seth Rollins would have kicked out of Kinshasa. Or at the very least, I know Samoa Joe did it in NXT, but, Anyway, this was a very good match. I was expecting Dean Ambrose interference, and we didn't get that. Seth won with the stomp. And that's all there is to that. It was a good match. It was 3.5 stars. So yeah, it was as good as it could have been. So then we get AOP, the Raw Tag Champs, with Drake Maverick, versus The Bar. This was an okay little match, wasn't much of anything. AOP eventually won. This has become a very infamous match due to Drake Maverick's wedding himself, which has now made AOP nothing more than a toilet joke. But AOP needed the win, so I'm actually glad AOP got the win. They needed the win more than the Bar did. So, 2.5 stars. Then we get the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match. Imagine this, the Cruiserweight title is on the main card of a main roster pay-per-view. When's the last time that happened? Answer, when Enzo Amore was the Cruiserweight Champion. Speaking of Enzo Amore, he decided to show up at Survivor Series and try to hijack the show, and he got kicked out. Enzo is burning his bridge rapidly, and I guess he thinks he's bigger than anybody else. So, let's not talk about Enzo anymore. Just forget him. Anyway, Buddy Murphy and Mustafa Ali. A very good match here. This was, quite frankly, this is probably, until a couple other matches, bordered on the match of the night here. WWE needs to do this more with the Cruiserweights. They need to stop confining them solely to 205 Live and let them be either on Raw, even once a month, or at least periodically throw them on the main show of a pay-per-view, because this match was really, really solid. It was a 3.5 star match. Buddy Murphy won, as I predicted he would. They just put the title on him, so why take it off of him now? Yeah, good match, 3.5 stars. So then we get the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series elimination match, but the score at this point is already 3-0, so the best SmackDown could potentially do was tie. But the 5-on-5 men's Survivor Series elimination match, it's Team Raw, captained by Baron Corbin, who again is not in this match for whatever reason. At least Alexa Bliss, there's a reason she's not in the match. There's no reason for Baron Corbin not to be in this match. But hey, it's Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, and Braun Strowman, with Lio Rush, of course, who's the hype man for Bobby Lashley, versus Team SmackDown, Captain, The Miz, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, Shane McMahon, and Samoa Joe. This is a 3-star match. For what it was a good match. Samoa Joe's eliminated in the first 30 seconds, which, to be fair, is at least tells you something about Survivor Series, that eliminations can come quick. Now, why it had to be Samoa Joe and not Shane McMahon is beyond me. You could have Shane McMahon be this elimination and no one would have cared. The fact that it's Samoa Joe made a lot of people angry. So then SmackDown manages to eliminate Finn Balor and Dolph Ziggler. And then Braun Strowman, who SmackDown took out just like last year, basically runs a table and eliminates everybody else in the match. He eliminates Shane McMahon, he eliminates Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, The Miz, and then he eliminates Shane McMahon to win for Team SmackDown for himself, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. Yeah, so Raw goes up 4-0 and essentially has one Survivor Series right there, because there wouldn't be any way SmackDown could do anything, since they weren't counting the kickoff match. But apparently the reason they weren't counting the kickoff match was because apparently Raw was supposed to win that too, but somehow the SmackDown team got told they would win. I don't really know how that's possible, but I guess it is. Okay. But still. So then we get the Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair match. The match was supposed to be Ronda Rousey versus not Becky Lynch until Nia Jax gave Becky Lynch a concussion and broke her face. She apparently wasn't going to be out long. She was going to be at TLC, but this was actually a really good match. It could have been better had it actually had an actual decisive finish and not the finish it had. But yeah, this was a very good match. Charlotte had a counter for everything Rousey wanted to do. Rousey had a counter for everything Charlotte wanted to do. This was actually a really solid, really good match. But it ends by DQ. So, of all the matches on this show where a technicality wins it for Raw, it's Ronda Rousey's match. But Charlotte just gets a kendo stick and then goes crazy and just beats her up Ronda Rousey with a kendo stick. and she eventually puts a chair over Ronda's throat and stomps on it, which Ronda no-sold after a while. So yeah, really good match, 4 stars. It was actually the match of the night, actually, that I rated it. Uh, so yeah, good match. So then we get the main event, the WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar versus the WWE Champion Daniel Bryan. So the WWE Championship can only main event if it's against the Universal Champion, huh? Because it can't main event when Lesnar ain't around. It can't even main event. It can't even main event greatest. It can't even main event Crown Jewel. That was main evented by 4 guys whose combined age is almost 200 years old. But anyway, Daniel Bryan starts mimicking Brock Lesnar, and you eventually start thinking like it is going to be a complete squash match because Bryan isn't getting any offense in. But then Bryan suddenly, there's a ref bump, and then Daniel Bryan hits a low blow. The go-to move of every heel in the WWE is to hit a low blow. And he hits Lesnar with the running knee. Lesnar kicks out. Eventually, Bryan hits him with a second running knee. Lesnar kicks out of that. Lesnar eventually hits the F5 for the win. One F5, obviously, because we can't have anyone kicking out of more than one F5. I mean, Strowman did it at Crown Jewel. Reigns did it at WrestleMania, but hey, we can't have anyone else do it, can we? But yeah, this was a 3-star match, so it wasn't bad. It was a lot like the AJ and Brock match from last year, which was Brock Lesnar's probably his best match, his match with CM Punk. So, when Brock is facing these smaller guys, it tends to be a better match. So yeah, this show actually, despite horrible build, because it got thrown under the bus for Crown Jewel, actually was not a horrible show at all. In fact, it was probably the best main roster pay-per-view this year. Now, it didn't come close to beating TakeOver War Games. Very few main roster pay-per-views, if any, are going to do that. And now they have 2 takeovers to start competing against. Royal Rumble has 2 takeovers to compete against, and it's which takeover will top itself. Because NXT now is going to it's going to turn into what tops it. Will TakeOver Phoenix top TakeOver UK TakeOver Blackpool? Both of them will probably top the Royal Rumble, but we'll see. So yeah, this was very good. I enjoyed this pay-per-view. I would have preferred that they at least gave SmackDown 1 win, but, I mean, 1 win that they actually decided to count, so it wasn't a shutout. But, you know, maybe they're building to after SmackDown goes to Fox in 2020, or 2019, next October, maybe they're building to SmackDown shutting out Raw. So, you know, let's wait to see where stuff goes here. Because I would hate to think that WWE is openly telling Fox that the show they're spending, what is it, $5 billion over 5 years or something insane for, basically is a waste of money. I would hate to think that WWE is openly doing that, so there's probably a bigger picture here somehow. And I imagine it goes to Shane McMahon's heel turn, but who really knows? But yeah, so that was my review of Survivor Series. If you like this video, like button is down there, subscribe button is down there. My last video of the year will probably be a retro review, which will be of a WCW show. I just don't know which one. I'll try to get that up sometime before Christmas. So probably in the middle part of the year. And then I'll take off until New Year's. So, thank you for watching. Bye.